Okay, let's do a video for the Moondrop SOLIS 2. If you're interested in getting this set, I don't know if I'm gonna, I haven't decided, but this would be the comment section I would pull a subscriber from and select and send it to. It is Moondrop's flagship in price and, in my opinion, sound quality. I do in fact think that this sounds amazing. You notice it doesn't have the stock cable on it. I might get into that in the video, or I might just address it in the comment sections. Stuff happens. It's not that big a deal. They look absolutely beautiful. They're made out of a silver that's, I think, like jewelry quality. I'm not into jewelry so much to know what 925 silver is. I could just look it up. I'm sure it's good silver. And the caps that are on it, Phoenix Dragon or something like that, with some symbolic meaning that I'm not really quite aware of. 24 karat gold coated or plated, I think. So it looks like a stunner. It's kind of heavy. It's heavier than the Storm, but it fits fine and it doesn't come out of my ear because of its weight. It's not as heavy as the Sony ARE Z1R, it seems. It's close though, or it might be a little heavier actually. Frequency graph is right there. Again, I'll talk about that as we move along. Let me go ahead and talk about musical replay and how this plays back my music. Let's start with what it's great with. I think that stuff like classical music, like Vivaldi, which is on the top now, this is all switched up. I think classical music, strings, and an orchestra is really difficult because there's so much going on. All of the frequency range is being stimulated extremely. The low end by certain instruments, the high end, the harmonics of everything together. It's busy. It's intense, and it can't tolerate too much mid bass, and it can't tolerate too much late treble to my ears. It makes it sound unnatural. This plays Vivaldi, Tchaikovsky, Verdi very well. Exceptional, actually. It's very, very good with classical music. I like it a lot. When we get into female vocals of all kinds, I'm not sure what I'll put up. I might put up All Saints or Madonna. I think female vocals sound excellent. Moondrop tends to, their bass tuning, or what they tune around, usually sounds really good with female vocals as opposed to some other house sounds from other brands. I think it does it great. Metallica, let me go ahead and, excuse me just a minute. And we are almost there. Are we past it? Led Zeppelin, give me just a second. Massive Attack. There we go, Metallica. Metallica with an electric guitar or two electric guitars with distortion pedals can get very busy, again, with the harmonics. This has treble that after 8 kilohertz is kind of starting to fall off. However, it doesn't sound unnatural. Cymbal strikes don't sound unnatural to me. The piano doesn't sound unnatural, and electric guitars with distortion pedals don't sound unnatural. It sounds different from sets that have the boosted treble around 13 to 20 kilohertz, which I can take it or leave it depending on what I'm listening to or how long I want to listen to. So I'm not actually going to put a ding on this set for a reason that might jump out at you. You might say, well, it's kind of fallen off. From my library and my listening ability, I find it to be fine and maybe beneficial because I can listen for long periods of time. At no point did I feel like this was a fatiguing set, and I enjoyed every minute of listening to my library, except for a little bit, which I'll get to right now. Stuff like Big Boy Kill Jill, I got to go all the way down to the other side of my library. Maybe I'll stick around with something over here. Lil Wayne, 6 foot, 7 foot with Corey Guns. Stuff like that isn't the SOLIS 2's strong point. It's not really built for that part of the library. Hip hop, definitely. You could do some Bob Marley, because I did, and I thought it sounded okay. I would like a little bit more slam. With bass guitars, on the other hand, it sounds really good. I think bass guitars sound very natural. This snap, the pulls and releases sound good for Black Sabbath, for Dire Straits, for Metallica, Nirvana. All the bass lines that I listened to I thought sounded great, so there was absolutely no problem with that. We're right by Led Zeppelin. The 4th album, When the Levee Breaks, go ahead and click this. I think we got multiple. Right here, the 8th track, the iconic dun sh, dun 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 sh, actually sounded fine. There wasn't a problem. This is the phenomenon when you have a gliding bass and you have, it's not emphasized, it's just a little bit under my target, and at 45 hertz to 200 hertz is slowly declining. It's not putting one thing above the other, and it doesn't have a mid-bass tuck. That sounds fine. It's when there's a tuck that sounds unnatural for the kick drum. A flat bass, something like the Moondrop Illumination, actually sounds fine with the bottom kick drum. It's the tucked up that affects 4-string, 5-string bass guitar and also the kick drum. This set plays that fine, so my rock and roll library is completely covered. Reggae is completely covered. Hip hop is not ideal, but it's not bad at all, and it's such a clean and high-res replay. I'm fine with that. Everything's got its weak point. Kick drum isn't one of them, happy to say. Look at the right side bottom, and you can see that on a scale of just overall excellence, resolution mostly, I would say that this is probably around an 8, between an 8 and a 9. I do think it is really good. It has a price of $2,700, configuration of 2DD, 2BA, 4 AST, as I stated before, an efficiency of 121, and an impedance of 10 ohm. It looked like it says 10 plus or minus to 15, but I'm going to go ahead and go with 10 ohm. That's first impressions. I'll probably do another video, or maybe with some other sets. Do I recommend it? If you are somebody that spends money up in this range, I just did a video talking about money tree sets, then yeah, sure. The build qualities, it's like art, like the Amber Pearl. Looks like something from Jurassic Park, but it's absolutely gorgeous. The closer you are and look at it, and more carefully you look at it, the more impressive it is. This is a stunningly beautiful set. The only thing that I want to point out is the cable is made out of some kind of a special material, which is great. However, if you've ever, and you probably have, especially if you're into chi-fi, you have an earphone, and when it's in its regular position, roughly like this, you're not getting a signal. And when you reach over and you pull it up like this, you get a signal, and the music comes in. And when you let it back to going behind your ear, the music cuts out. So my set, unfortunately, has that issue on the left side. I thought that it was related to, because I started with the Cayin and I went into that. I thought the issue was maybe here, which was the termination, because it came out of the box, I believe, with 3.5, so I had to roll this out and go to 4.4. Put that in, and then I thought the Cayin's having some issues. It must be that. Yanked that out, put this cable to the side, and then I grabbed some, I like it, but it's basically a generic 4.4, and put it in. And I'm more scared that there's something wrong with the 2-pin holder, like, because that's a problem. The cable's a cable. There's no problem. The IEMs themselves, the buds are completely fine. There's no cracks. There's no loose connection, nothing like that. Totally fine. Just this cable. I reached out to Moondrop on Discord, and I haven't gotten a reply yet, but I'm totally fine with buying a new cable. Ideally, companies would just give you a replacement, but I'm not going to sit here and take a video, though I would if they'd want that. I'd just buy another one, because it's very likely that this is going to go out to some fan that's watching this video right now and really would like to get the set, but never could possibly afford it. I'll try to sort that out before I give it away. If not, you're going to get a set where you got to roll a cable, but I mean, first world problems, you know what I'm saying? But as an IEM and how it sounds, it's fantastic. I like it a lot. I do think it's the best set that Moondrop has released to date. The argument becomes, is it worth its price? And I'd argue that if we calculate materials, true material cost, and labor by engineers that are qualified, does anything really, should it cost over $1,000? That's a whole nother video, but I like it, and I think it's worth the money. So that's the Moondrop. Does most of my library very well, and the part it doesn't do excellent, it does pretty good. So it's excellent with most stuff, and it's pretty good with the rest. Good set, like it, very nice job by Moondrop. And I'm probably going to try to get my hands on the new Moondrop cable that's got the presets on it, because I'm a big fan of that. So you guys stay tuned. Have a nice week, and I'll see you in the next video. And I'm out.